All right, guys, welcome back. Tommy Guy here, Minuteman Command, breaking down some more of our UMass football transfers that came in January. And we got, again, Coach Nic Tardiff breaking down some offensive linemen for us. What's up, Coach?
Hey, how's it going, Tommy? Happy to be here, and thank you for having me as always. Ready to talk
Listen,
about some hogs.
I don't know how much everyone's been following UMass football, man, but things look definitely on the right track. We're about to break down another transfer portal guy who's an Ivy League graduate. We've had plenty of them already to break down. We got another one. And me, I'm a little biased. I've been living in Springfield, Mass for a long time, but everyone that knows me knows I grew up in North Jersey, and I'll claim that as the greatest state in the country. So we got a guy here. We're going to break down Michael Entwistle from Don Bosco Prep, Harvard, and now to the UMass Minutemen. I mean, all jokes aside, I mean, when you're building a football program, right, you got guys, right? You want guys that are committed, guys that are going to sacrifice, guys that work hard, and guys that want to compete. So we got a kid here we're about to talk about, Nick, that from one of the best high school programs in the country, Don Bosco Prep, goes to Harvard, was a great player at Harvard, graduates with a Harvard degree, and now is coming to UMass to play football. I mean, it's not a bad combination right there.
Something to be very excited about. O-line is a position where you have to have brains and brawn, and I know, and Harvard, even in that league, also has a history of having premium offensive linemen. So I think this kid's going to bring a ton to the table through this spring and subsequently in the fall.
Yeah, and our leader of the command, one of our sports writers, Christian McCollum, talked to Coach Dan Sabella, Don Bosco head football coach, about Mike, and he mentioned that, Mike had just been working his butt off, that he's a good player in high school, and he's just worked himself. He's worked himself all the way to the FBS level. And, that's exciting for our fans and for the team and for everyone. So UMass, keep it up. Keep up the great job getting these guys in here. And, excited to watch this guy in the spring. But tell me a little bit about Mike before we put on some of his clips.
So 6'2", 285, 295. I mean, he's more than competent. This dude's best football is he's played a ton of good football, but his best football is still ahead of him. You can tell that he's a relentless worker. I thought the tape overall was great. I think the dude moves super well. I think you could tell the dudes around him have a great degree of trust for him, and he plays the game with a mean streak, which I like a ton.
Awesome, man. I love that too. Nothing better for a quarterback than an offensive line with a mean streak.
No question.
All right, here we go, Nick. Let's watch some clips of Mike.
So he's going to be number 70 at left guard. Now, this is just like we talked about this a little bit, right, when we were talking about Kyle from Dartmouth, right? This guy's not giving up ground easy. So Mike's pad level's great. Foot drive never stops, right? Working with his upper body. What you could sum all that up in one phrase, what they say, strain. And I think strain is huge in offensive line. So he gets into the fit and he's straining and he's straining, he's straining. We talked, Coach, about this down and distance, right? Where you can smell the end zone and he's doing his best, right? And you can see all the way till the very end. He wants to finish this dude and finish this block in the end zone, right? So I think that this is perfect in a goal line play, right? This guy he's relentless. And even as the dude starts folding over a little bit, he still adds a little extra sauce on top of the finish, which I absolutely love. And that's part of the mean streak. This dude's never done.
I was just going to say that, I love about this clip is like, people talk about, big running backs, right? And this guy's going to wear you out and you're going to tackle him, and you got to hit him. And then by the third, fourth quarter, you're going to be worn out, right? But no one wears people out than an offensive line, more than an offensive lineman. So this guy, he wins his job, right? He dominates. He gets his pancake here, and he's just hitting them.
Yes,
I mean, listen.
yes.
And, I'm sure the guy they're going against, we know they're playing, again, another guy we're watching that's not coming from playing high school ball, no offense to high school players, obviously. But
sure.
This film's coming from the Ivy League. He's playing really, really good high-level football, and dominating in the goal line. We all know, right, in this formation right here, the whole defense knows it's run play. They're coming downhill.
No
and he's just coming down and dominating. So,
like you said, that's a good 3 technique, man. And he's putting him on the butt list this close to the end zone. Like this guy, I like how he's working really hard with his inside hand, strong where the ball is, right? This is a great clip. I mean, if you could sum yourself up as a player in one clip, this ain't a bad one to put up there.
Yeah, you know, when he went to film on Monday this week, he was waiting for it. He's like, let's watch this together as a hot group.
100%. Having a nice a Taylor ham and egg sandwich, right?
Hopefully. All right, here we go. Here's another clip.
This is good leverage here, right? You want that. So on this kick out block, you want that near foot, near shoulder. You see he lands right foot, right shoulder, right, stonewalls that defender, right? And I mean, this kid, like, he's trying to box him, and he's coming with the head of steam here, right? That's good leverage, right? He's on the move. I like the way his pad level matches the pad level of the defender so he doesn't get pushed back. And this is a tough block to make. I mean, that guy's coming with the head of steam. You don't necessarily see around the corner. He knows contact's coming, but he doesn't exactly know when, right? And I think he gives, I mean, the block that he does there with his pad level, this near foot, near shoulder, and the fact that this big man's boogieing, right? And he gives a nice seam, and they break this thing off for a great run. And again, we're going to say it every clip. Sometimes we're watching high school highlights with these guys. This is not a high school highlight, right? This is in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and this is Harvard where the Crimson play. These are big dudes and really good defenders.
Yeah, Nick, I'll be honest. I'm impressed with the defender on this one. I mean, he breaks down, he closes quick. You know, by the time he reaches him, this kid's in the B gap. You know, so right. It's not like he was waiting for him and he just let him level. I mean, he takes it on well. I mean, this is a good battle right here.
100%. If he gave any more than he did, you're talking about that dude has constricted the lane. But what Mike does here is, I mean, he holds his ground, near foot, near shoulder, uses what God gave him, his mass and his quickness, right, and shuts it down right where it stands and gives his running back. And of course, you know, the running backs always are an offensive line's best friend and vice versa, right? He gets a small seam here and he makes the defense pay for it.
Great. Let's go to another clip.
This is another one, right? So these two are both on here because you're just seeing that this was obviously, you know, this little gap scheme running some power battle was going on here. Or this is, I believe this is counter, right? These two guys were clearly, you know, lighting off fireworks all day, right? So this is the same matchup as last time. What's up? So we, you see, now we're getting a little bit more of this one, but now you see after the presence of mind, that first initial contact, right? Look at him rewrap his hands, refit his hands, continue to run his feet, and then finish this thing downfield. So this tells me that Mike is a relentless dude. And you see, like right here, coach, like after the initial contact right here, now watch. Refit, rewrap, gets his hands back tight again and runs his feet and gets finished on that.
Yeah, Nick, we talked about it on the goal line clip about, you know, wearing people out.
Yes.
So you watch that clip. You watch the last clip where it's very similar block. You watch this one and the kid closes, but then he hesitates a little bit. He hesitates before contact this defender. You know, and it's just like something that just wears on you, right? And you're a human being, you know, like you only get hit so many times.
Yes,
and Mike is just punishing him. And, you know, second time around, you know, he softened up a little bit, and now Mike's dragging the guy, you know, 10 yards, 6, 7, 8 yards down the field.
Yes, these are the body blows during the course of a boxing match, right? They're not what everybody at home wants to see. Everybody wants to see the haymakers and the knockout punches, but these body blows, right? They make it so, you know, later in the fight, right? Things are more tender, and you're less likely to be as strong as you could be.
Yep. Awesome. We got one more clip. Let's check it out.
Oh, so now like you're seeing this is Division I technique, right? We saw it a little bit when we talked about Kyle Brown, right? Look at the pad level here to hit this dude where he bends. Now, if you so when you're making this play as a left guard, right? You hit him up top in his shoulder pads, right? He might You might get some movement on him, but then he could rock himself back into that gap. What he does here is he hits this dude like right in his hip where you bend, where a defensive lineman hates getting hit the most. You can tell that he's playing with the other dudes on his team because as he hits that, you see that his center torques that dude right out of the gap at the same time. And like this play, I mean, this is double team. This is textbook, right? Now he buries his head pretty good in that double team and still doesn't lose his ability to track that linebacker too. Now, obviously, he probably wants a little bit better of a piece, but all he could do is attack the hip of that backer there. And look what he does. He still does, and he keeps revving his feet, and he just puts the dude on the ground. Like, this guy is the type of, like, offensive line, it's more like a street fight than anything else, right? It's the choreography of it is all great on paper and when going half speed. But when the chips are really down on Saturday, right, to see, number one, this level of polished technique, but at the same time, the fact that in a scramble, this dude can still make a linebacker pay. I love everything about this clip. This is outstanding. This dude is a football player.
And when you first started talking on this clip, Nick, you broke up for a little bit.
Okay.
But I think what you were saying is you heard, watching, similar to Kyle Brown's clip that we were watching, this guy moves him all the way to another gap. Takes care of the nose, and he gets up. And I love what you say, he's finishing every block.
Every block.
He doesn't, he's not okay with just doing his job. He's doing as much as he can. He's just going to wear people out.
The way he hits that guy in his hip is so violent. And you mentioned it a little earlier, Coach, about just what do you do in this play that's going to make this guy a little less good next play? And what he did to that nose guard's hip on that play that's going to hurt at the end of the day. And these guys start to get on the defensive line. If you keep hitting them in the IT band or the AT band, I forget what it's called, but if you keep hitting them where they bend like that, it's going to take an enormous physical toll on them. And stopping the run is hard, man. So the more you can do that, the more you can just wear these guys down. And then the fourth quarter, when you need to get into that 4-minute offense and milk some time off the clock, those guys are going to be drinking pond water because they're so tired.
Definitely. And it's going to wear out on that outside backer that's coming off the edge of trying to close. It's going to wear on that nose. It's, you're going to be thinking every single time, is this kid about to, hit me in the hip and knock me in the other gap. So, man, just excited. I'm excited about all these guys we got, but I love talking O-line and love having you on, Coach. And, another guy we're excited to see this spring.
These guys are heavyweight title fighters that they're getting from the Ivy League. It's going to be big time thumping in Amherst. You're going to be able to hear it all the way from Belchertown.
Love it, Coach. Hey, thanks for coming on, and we'll see you again soon.
Thanks for having me.